Story 1. Pay off the mortgages for everyone in my family, make billions in charitable donations, throw a huge party, and then sit by the ocean and wait for my end to come. Many of you seem to think I wouldn't have time for all of this. Why wouldn't I use my unlimited resources to hire someone else to handle the first two tasks? Story 2. The answers here are either 1. Doing good in the world, such as charity or solving world hunger, or 2. Engaging in harmful activities. Story 3. I would buy Real Madrid and the Denver Broncos, as well as the place where I work. I would then fire my former boss, give Real Madrid to the person I love the most, and give the Denver Broncos to the person I dislike the most. I would die happy. Story 4. Infinite money? I would send 999 billion to each person in the world's 99% and make the billionaires of the world obsolete. Story 5. I would set up all my loved ones for life, fly them out to Norway, and die surrounded by everyone I love in the most beautiful place I have ever been. I would give a significant amount of money to my best friend because, as a stay-at-home mom, I want her to have the financial freedom not to depend on her controlling ex. Story 6. Provide a lifetime supply of food for those in need and cover everyone's medical expenses. Support the largest network of free higher education globally, offering the best accredited courses. Story 7. Animal shelters like those that are genuinely working to match pets with forever homes are important. It is not the organizations that pay high salaries and provide luxury vehicles to the board, which often consists of just one person and her children, while charging a substantial adoption fee despite receiving donated labor and veterinary care. Story 8. Do as much good as I can afford. Make significant donations to end homelessness, feed and clothe everyone, provide mental and physical health assistance for all, offer free college education, ensure animals are cared for, clean up the environment, and plant trees. Story 9. Donate to shelters, food banks, hospitals, and animal shelters. Contribute to university tuition for individuals studying to become doctors, as our community has a shortage of medical professionals. Support schools to ensure teachers have adequate supplies for their students and that every child can participate in school trips. Lastly, it may seem a little selfish, but I would pay off my family's mortgages. Story 10. Give unlimited funds to various charities and research organizations. Just because I am facing a terminal condition does not mean I cannot leave the world a better place. Story 11. Make sure my wife is set up for after I pass. There will be no debt, and I will pay off everything. Then, I will have a great dinner with her and tell her how much she means to me. Story 12. About 2 years ago, my cat was very sick and needed to be put down. She was 22, so she had a good, long life. On her last day, I got her a vanilla milkshake, since she loved them but wasn't supposed to have them. My roommate and I sat with her all day, watching TV and letting her enjoy as much milkshake as she wanted. Whenever my time comes, I hope to have a little bit of time to sit with someone I care about, watch some TV, and sip a milkshake. I don't need any more than that. Story 13. In no particular order. 1. Pay off all debts. Buy properties and put them under my wife and son's names. Hire a good accountant and attorney to manage assets. Invest. Purchase several franchises from popular food chains to maintain cash flow. Set up a trust fund for my son with stipulations to ensure he receives an undergraduate and master's degree related to business. Ensure my wife is set for life. Hire a team of professionals and lawyers to manage assets. Story 14. Set up my children for financial success. Make a significant donation to my church, and assist as many struggling families as possible during that time. Pray for my family and seek forgiveness for my past mistakes. Story 15. We are donating a significant amount of money to charities, leaving substantial inheritances for everyone, and settling the debts of anyone we can. Story 16. Give everyone I value in my life a house and 100 million so they can do whatever they want with their lives. Story 17. Write a substantial check to cancer research. Support deserving individuals in need. Donate to no-kill animal shelters and fosters. Purchase the largest life insurance policy available. Bring all my favorite people together for a memorable time filled with good food and great company. Story 18. Send significant funds to support individuals in need, pay off debts, and address economic disparities. Disrupt traditional financial markets to reset asset values and create a more equitable environment. Allocate substantial resources to impoverished countries and communities, and support charitable organizations. Hope that from the challenges faced, a better system will emerge, one that prioritizes the welfare of the vulnerable and underprivileged. Story 19. Probably browse Reddit from the toilet. 24 hours isn't enough time to do anything meaningful with that much money, so I would just relax and do what I always do. Story 20. Panic. Then call a company for personal assistance, hire accountants and lawyers. Hire around 50 people, go to a church hall next door, and set up tables. Split them into groups of 5 and start writing checks. The first check would be to my government for several $1 trillion to eliminate national debt. Then, for teams would be tasked with researching charities. I want one team for national charities, one team for international charities, one for medical charities, and the last for educational charities. One team should focus 70% on girls' education in the developing world. I will have lawyers set up funds for scholarships, prioritizing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as medical scholarships. Also, tell the Ukrainian embassy to send someone over with their list of tools. Keep the military complex on speed dial. Then, 2 teams will be responsible for organizing a party. I want this party to be extravagant, with multiple stories of excitement and music. Buy out fancy dress stores, circus acts, and plenty of drinks. Everyone working will be paid $50,000 for the night. I am going out with a bang. I guess my friends and family will now have generational wealth. Additionally, buy GameStop stocks and every fall option available, as well as every stock priced from $0 to $1,000, just for fun. Story 21. My spouse, son, and close friends would be set for life. Many charities that I value would receive large donations. Story 22. Fees, outstanding fees, legal documents, insurance, and taxes. I assume there's some magic in play here since there's infinite money. Pass it forward, share that power with the next person, and then fall asleep. Story 23. Create a fund to provide food and housing for the homeless. Then I would sit in a chair on the beach until my time expired. Story 24. Fly down to Argentina, take a boat to see the penguins, and enjoy watching them while using mushrooms and cannabis. Story 25. Spend a few hours setting up substantial trusts for my family and for charitable effective causes, as well as investing in healthcare. I will spend the rest of my time with my wife and daughter. I will tell my wife that I love and cherish her, and I will try to explain to my daughter what my absence will mean while holding her close. This is quite difficult to think about. Story 26. Give all that money to the people who rescue animals and help the homeless, and then buy a pizza and cold coffee for myself afterward. Story 27. I would not sleep for 24 hours. The first 3 hours would be spent buying gold. I would set up a few people. Then I would fly with a few close friends to the Rocky Mountains. In my final hours, I want to spend time in laughter, surrounded by beauty and the people I love the most, along with plenty of wine, a couple of kegs, and a few joints. Story 28. Provide it to many entrepreneurs who can create numerous jobs. Allocate a significant portion to environmentalists so they can address various issues. Lastly, set aside funds for private security professionals who can eliminate threats. The remainder should go to my family. Is there anything else? Story 29. Bankrupt the global economy. This version of capitalism is not working, so let's end it. We are no more capitalist than North Korea is a democracy. Story 30. I would share it with as many people as possible throughout the day, without telling anyone about my expiration time. I would spread so much joy and have the best day of my life doing so, ending with the biggest smile on my face. Selfishly, I couldn't imagine a more desirable scenario, even outside the context of this discussion. Story 31. Reset the political system to create an opportunity for a better future. Story 32. 2 things. 1. Enter the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion to see the Ark of the Covenant. Enter Mecca to look inside the Kaaba. Story 33. That's like asking me to play God for 24 hours. Cancel medical debt for large global populations. Set up an alternative to the International Monetary Fund to rival the current global order, and fund countries in need of infrastructure. Create institutions to launch free education programs and fund messenger RNA projects that aim to find cures. But since I only have 24 hours to live, I would find the most capable lawyer to write this all in my will, put the money in a trust, and give it to someone to manage. I don't know who, but it probably would have been Mr. Rogers had he been alive. And then enjoy life until my death, or by any means necessary, whichever comes first. Story 34. 24 hours is not enough time to do something life-changing. I would probably spend it with my family, if possible, and use the money to get whatever food I wanted. If you asked me about a week or a month, I would likely say I would travel. However, at the end of the day, life boils down to being with the people you love, and if I had 24 hours, no amount of money would matter. Story 35. Sort out my family's financial issues, pay the mortgage on our house, and leave a substantial amount for my husband, nieces, and friends. I would also donate a significant portion to my favorite charities. Additionally, I want to enjoy the most delicious food I can within a 24-hour period, travel to a nice place if time allows, and cover the costs of my funeral and cremation. Story 36. If I had 24 hours left and limitless money, I would fly my family and friends to a beautiful island, host an unforgettable party, and cherish every moment with them. Story 37. Put a price on the heads of all the country's top officials with a 20-hour deadline. $1 billion per head, and another billion for their possible successors. I would use the remaining hours watching the world burn. Additionally, include all other millionaires and billionaires, along with their heirs down the line. Story 38. I would donate a significant amount of money to every animal shelter I could contact. I would set them up with spacious holding facilities instead of small gated areas for the dogs and provide enough funds to employ many staff members who can keep the dogs and cats company throughout the day. I envision a large dog park for them to play in and a spacious cat room filled with towers and toys. Story 39. I would go to every store and buy all the food I could want, purchase a house, acquire a private plane, and negotiate with nations to create better laws. I would persuade Russia to stop its invasion of Ukraine or simply obtain enough military power to deter them. I would convince Gaza to release the hostages while encouraging Israel to pursue peace and provide better protections to avoid hardship for its people. Then, I would help those who have done wrong to change their ways, invest in finally losing my virginity, and negotiate with other countries to allow my family to relocate if they wish. I would ensure my family has access to any home or education they desire, document my unfinished business for my brother to complete, write my will, and pass away peacefully. Story 40. I would dedicate time and effort to pay off my family's student loans, establish a trust for individuals I know will not misuse it and genuinely need it, purchase homes for friends or family members in need, and create a fund for an elected representative to assist with donations and preparations for funerals. I will ensure all legal matters are addressed and have beneficiaries ready. If any tasks take longer than 24 hours, I will have someone act on my behalf. I want to support my friends and family for their benefit, even if it's the last thing I can do. I believe that generational curses can be broken, and if I had sufficient funds to do so, I would. I care deeply for my friends and family. Story 41. Since infinite money entered the conversation, I would probably go to Disneyland and pay for everyone's tickets and meals. I would give each person $200 to buy mouse-branded hats, shirts, and anything else they wanted for the day. Seeing their happiness would cheer me up, knowing it is my last day on the planet. Story 42. I would ensure my will is updated and that I chose a reliable executor for my estate. I would also inform my family about my wishes for my finances after my passing. In reality, 24 hours is hardly enough time. You wouldn't be able to, for example, solve homelessness or purchase the Denver Broncos in that time frame. Therefore, it would depend on your executor and friends or family to carry out your wishes. Story 43. Donate to sick children. If I cannot have another chance at life, they should at least have theirs. They are just kids. They deserve to grow up and have the lives they want to create for themselves. Story 44. Donate substantial amounts of money to charities. Declare a significant income and pay taxes to my home country to help pay off its debts. Establish a large investment fund to provide financial support for Ukraine to win the war and rebuild. Create a substantial investment fund dedicated to the green transition, managed by a nonprofit organization that can access the fund to develop renewable and nuclear energy sources. Form a nonprofit organization responsible for distributing funds from the investment pool to build railway infrastructure. Pay off the debts of SNCF Réseau, the organization tasked with building and maintaining railways in France. Create an organization that will offer politicians significant amounts of money to pass legislation that limits corporate lobbying, ensures transparency, and makes large campaign contributions illegal. Appoint trustworthy individuals to lead all these organizations, using bylaws to restrict their actions. Establish a fund for my family and friends so they do not have to work again, ensuring they can live comfortably and pursue success if they choose. Story 45. I would donate a significant amount of money to the Ukrainian army. Then I will fund the construction of hospitals around the world. After that, I will purchase a tank and shoot at some gold. Finally, I will buy a large building for homeless cats to live in. Story 46. Donate my money to those helping individuals escape sex trafficking and to my local church. Support my wife, mother, father, and friends battling cancer. Pray and read my Bible alone on a nearby mountaintop, and die with a smile. Story 47. With 24 hours left and unlimited resources, I would book a private jet, gather my loved ones, and have an unforgettable day at a beautiful beach. Story 48. Find ways to give back to my friends and family with the money I have, to set them up for success when I'm gone, and to spend time with them. Story 49. Pay off everyone's debt and hire professionals to address the individuals negatively impacting our society. Story 50. First, I would pay off all of my friends and family's debts. Then I would try to spend the day with the man I love, doing anything at all. Just being with him. Story 51. Find the best estate attorney within a 2-hour drive and start setting up endowments for children's hospitals, public school education, scholarships, trade schools, free healthcare clinics, cancer research, income-based housing construction, mixed-use planning, renewable energy projects, and about 400 nuclear reactors across the country. Additionally, focus on passing an updated version of Franklin D. Roosevelt's Second Bill of Rights, incorporating modern human rights and expanding age limits on federal offices. Allocate $100 billion for each initiative. Secondly, establish trusts of approximately $10 million each for surviving family members and friends. Then, enjoy a good meal and create meaningful last-minute memories with family and friends without revealing the reasons behind the gathering. Story 52. Buy Reddit and ban all questions about suddenly having a large amount of money because they have been asked in every way a billion times and are just so boring now. Story 53. Give it to all my friends who have mental health issues so they can use it to receive proper professional help. Story 54. Nothing. There is nothing unlimited funds can do for me that I do not already find happiness in. Story 55. Unfortunately, as a minor, I am not allowed to do most of the things I want to. However, I would buy from my favorite restaurant, invest in stocks, write a will, pray to my God, and then, I suppose, die. If I were an adult, I would do all that and also go skydiving. Story 56. I would tank the global economy by giving trillions of dollars to everyone on Earth except the already super rich. They can become the new lower class, while anyone with only billions is essentially homeless now. Then I would die giggling about the complete pandemonium that will ensue. Story 57. I would grill. I'm only alive for 24 hours. I'd buy out my local Walmart and grill. I would definitely pass before all the grilling was done, but all the best grillers would swing by to grill with me. I would feed my whole town. Not just meats, though. Vegetarian grillers are also welcome. I would serve dozens of Sikhs, Buddhists, Hindus, cowboys, North Carolinians, Texans, and people from Mississippi, along with pulled pork from Kentucky and pecans from Georgia. Let's eat. Story 58. Pay off my girlfriend's mortgage. Establish a significant scholarship fund at the local community college. Support the local food bank. Fly a plane into the sunset. Story 59. I believe many people in this discussion are overlooking the time constraint or not considering it as part of the question. Just because there is an unlimited amount of money does not imply you will have unlimited time to address all of the world's issues. You will only have one day. It would likely be more effective to consult a lawyer and allocate a specific amount of money to charities or individuals of your choice in a will. However, it may still take considerable time to arrange that. Story 60. I would help as many Palestinian, Congolese, Sudanese, Yemeni, and Haitian families as possible. I would also end world hunger and poverty and provide universal housing for all. Story 61. Write many checks to family and friends and buy several houses for them as well. Purchase an island and prepay for additional houses and amenities, including a doomsday bunker equipped with high-tech features, a helicopter pad, and a helicopter. Set it up for self-sufficiency for as long as possible. Create videos and letters for my children and husband. Story 62. I would establish a trust with $999 trillion to cover all medical care and medical debt for individuals in the lower 99% of net worth. I would also create a similar trust to subsidize green energy initiatives for those in the lower 99%. Additionally, I would start a nonprofit organization to hold large companies accountable for exploiting people and the environment. Story 63. Definitely pay off any outstanding debts so they do not pass on to my children. Story 64. Spend time with my family and set up an estate. Withdraw as much cash as possible and enjoy a great meal. Give them the remaining cash. Story 65. If it's infinite physical cash, I would allow it to spawn continuously for 24 hours, creating infinite mass in the world. This could disrupt the balance of everything and potentially lead to catastrophic results, but it also represents a unique opportunity due to the laws of physics. Alternatively, I would pursue hostile takeovers of as many companies as possible and transfer control to more capable individuals. If anyone attempts to interfere, I would use infinite money to persuade them. Story 66. Buy my wife a reliable car, purchase pet insurance for my son's lifetime, and buy a modest house. Charter a private flight to finally see Navy Pier and visit the Field Museum and Brookfield Zoo if there is enough time. Watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation one last time while snuggling with my wife. Story 67. Find an incredible place to take my daughter and husband. A location where I can see her have a wonderful time. Then relax while we watch the sun set. Story 68. Invest in a way that helps my children and their families, and allocate some resources to assist friends and partners. Then, gather all my family members who can come and spend every possible minute with them. Story 69. Set up my son for his future success with college and everything else. Have my funeral paid for. Then sit by my father's and grandmother's grave and let the sweet release of death overtake me. Story 70. I was misdiagnosed with spinal meningitis and told I had 24 hours to live. I spent 5 or 6 hours in an isolated room while doctors and nurses in full personal protective equipment came and went. As unbelievable as it may sound, those were the most peaceful hours of my life. I surrendered to the inevitable. Eventually, a blood culture came back, indicating endocarditis, and my death sentence was deferred. Story 71. I would use the money to set up trust funds for my family and friends to ensure they are well taken care of after I am gone. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.